Big tech is spending billions to put AI at the center of your life. But there's one tiny secret they'd rather you not focus on. A billion-dollar flaw at the heart of every model that causes them to lie. And the worst part? This isn't some bug they're scrambling to fix. It's a core feature of how AI actually works. In this video, we're going to break down the one problem that nobody's been able to solve, and why it might be the biggest threat to our shiny AI-powered future. To really get this flaw, you have to see it in action. It's a phenomenon called hallucination, and it's one of the top concerns for businesses trying to adopt AI. It's when an AI generates information that sounds totally plausible, but is completely, utterly false. For a wild example, just look at our legal system. In a few now infamous court cases, lawyers have been sanctioned and even fined for using AI to write their legal briefs. In one instance, a lawyer's filing cited several court cases as precedent.
Used AI to create a legal brief so full of AI slop and make-believe case law that it ticked off the judge till she fined him.
The arguments were sharp, the case names sounded official, and the logic was on point. Just one tiny problem. The cases were completely made up, invented out of thin air by the AI. The lawyer admitted he had no idea and just trusted what the machine gave him. And this wasn't a one-off glitch. A similar thing happened in another case where a different legal team got slapped with a $5,000 fine for the exact same mistake. The judge in that case pointed out the disturbing tendency for these systems to fabricate and supply false or misleading information. It goes way beyond the courtroom, too. Air Canada was legally forced to honor a refund policy that its own customer service chatbot just invented. The airline tried to argue it shouldn't be responsible for its AI's hallucination, but the court disagreed, saying the company is responsible for everything on its website, even the lies its AI tells. What these examples show is that AI models don't just get things wrong. They get things wrong with a scary amount of confidence. And that's where the real trouble starts. So, why does this keep happening? The common assumption is that these are just early-day bugs that will get smoothed out with more data and better code. But that assumption is totally wrong. According to research from engineers at places like OpenAI, hallucinations are basically a mathematical inevitability of how these models are built. They aren't a bug. They're a fundamental feature of the architecture. To get why, you have to stop thinking of AI as a brain that knows things. It's not a database. It searches for facts. A large language model, or LLM, is really just a spectacularly complex autocomplete, a word-guessing machine. At its core, an LLM's only job is to predict the next most probable word in a sentence, based on patterns from trillions of words written by humans. It's designed to create sentences that sound right, not sentences that are right. It literally cannot understand the concept of truth. The model doesn't know what a fact is. It only knows what a plausible-sounding sentence looks like. And that's the heart of the problem. When you ask it something where the correct answer isn't a strong pattern in the data, it doesn't just stop and say, I don't know. Its programming forces it to generate the most likely string of words to form an answer, even if that answer is total nonsense. It's just guessing, but its guesses are so linguistically sophisticated that it's almost impossible to tell the difference. This leads us to the billion-dollar flaw that nobody has fixed, the capability-reliability gap. This is the huge disconnect between what an AI can theoretically do and what it can reliably do. An AI can write a sonnet, explain quantum physics, or pass the bar exam. But it can't be trusted to do any of these things with 100% accuracy because it's all based on probability, not certainty. And what makes it all worse is the black box problem. Even the people who create these AIs can't fully trace how they arrive at a specific answer. The internal workings are so complex that the reasoning is a mystery. So when an AI makes a catastrophic error, we often can't even figure out why. This might all sound like a technical problem, but the real-world consequences are already here. As we rush to plug AI into every part of our lives, this flaw is a serious risk. We've already seen the financial fallout. In one infamous incident, a flawed AI response on a public demo was blamed for wiping $100 billion off a company's stock value in a single day. In another, the real estate company Zillow lost over $500 million and had to lay off 25% of its staff because its AI-powered home buying algorithm made wildly inaccurate predictions. But the stakes are much higher than just money. Think about healthcare. AI is already being used to help diagnose diseases from medical images, but the black box nature of these systems is a huge issue. A study of AI medical devices cleared by the FDA found that many enter the market with little to no clinical evaluation, and subsequent recalls were most common for devices that lacked this validation. If a doctor relies on an AI that hallucinates a diagnosis or misreads a scan, the human cost is immeasurable. Or look at transportation. Tesla's autopilot feature has been involved in numerous accidents, some fatal, prompting massive recalls and ongoing federal investigations into its full self-driving technology. Waymo, another leader in self-driving cars, also had to recall its robotaxis after a software defect made them prone to crashing into stationary objects like gates and chains. When the AI in a 2-ton vehicle makes a mistake or misinterprets what it sees, the consequences are deadly. From hiring tools that illegally discriminate to chatbots advising people to break the law, the examples are everywhere. We're building our future on a technology that is designed to confidently lie, and we have no idea how to stop it. This is a massive problem, and it's why understanding this gap is so critical. If you're getting value from this breakdown and want to stay ahead of the curve on all things AI, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below with the craziest AI hallucination you've ever seen. I promise I read them all. Now, you might be thinking, surely someone's working on a fix. And you're right, tech companies are pouring resources into solutions, but so far, they're all just patches covering up the problem, not solving it at the source. One popular idea is called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. In simple terms, you give the AI a specific set of trusted documents, like a company's internal files, and tell it to only pull answers from there. This helps, but it doesn't solve the core issue. The AI can still misinterpret the source material, hallucinate connections between different documents, or just generate a response that's grammatically perfect but factually twisted. It's like giving a student the textbook during an exam. It doesn't guarantee they'll understand the material or get the answer right. Another attempted fix is to train models to admit when they're not sure. Research from OpenAI suggests that models could be trained to express doubt. The problem is, the way we currently grade AI performance actually rewards guessing. An AI that constantly says, "I don't know," is seen as less useful and scores worse on industry benchmarks, so there's a built-in incentive to guess, even if it means being wrong. These solutions are like putting up guardrails on a bridge that has a faulty foundation. They might prevent a few accidents, but they do nothing to fix the underlying structural weakness. The fact remains, as long as LLMs work by predicting the next most likely word, the potential to hallucinate isn't a bug to be removed, but a feature that has to be managed. And right now, nobody has truly fixed it. So, where does that leave us? We're at a critical moment. Businesses are racing to deploy AI, with some reports showing that over 78% of organizations are already using it in at least one function. We're told that AI will revolutionize science, cure diseases, and unlock incredible productivity. But all of this progress is sitting on a deeply flawed foundation. The central issue is, and always will be, trust. How can we build our critical systems, our legal, financial, and healthcare infrastructure on a technology that is fundamentally unreliable? The billion-dollar flaw isn't just the cost of developing these systems. It's the potential cost to society when their inherent untrustworthiness leads to a systemic failure. The very companies building this future are becoming more centralized, creating a paradox where a handful of corporations control a technology that's becoming essential for everyone, yet is built around a problem that remains unsolved. The more capable these models get, the more subtle and convincing their lies will become. It will get harder, not easier, to tell fact from fiction. As we rush to hand over more of our world to these automated systems, we have to ask a serious question. Are we building our future on a foundation of sand? And if we can't fix the lie at the heart of AI, how much are we willing to bet on it being right? A NullFrame Labs transmission.